You know things are bad in Washington. We've known about 10 months now that Senator Chris Dodd was among some of the very important people who got sweetheart mortgages from Countrywide. Did you? Because I didn't get mine, but he did, apparently. What we don't know is how many other people benefited in Congress, what kind of favors they got in return. At least one lawmaker wants to know the facts. Republican Congressman Darrell Issa of California, he joins me now. Congressman, first of all, let me ask you about cap and trade. I know that Nancy Pelosi actually met with Democrats yesterday and offered them Dove bars if they'll just come to her office and talk. And I'm thinking, bankrupt my company, or I think I'm going to put the Dove bar down. What is the atmosphere
by the
there?
Way, I must tell you, last night I was with one of the congressmen from West Virginia who let me know that he was not going to the White House luau because he didn't want Rahm Emanuel to grab him and force him into a room with the president. So the mood right here right now is Republicans, the vast majority, oppose anything similar to this cap and trade in its present form. Democrats, deep down, most of them don't want it, but they're being pressured heavily to vote for it.
Is it going to pass or not, Congressman?
Well, back in the old days, a long time ago, when we were in control, we didn't bring something to the floor if we didn't think we could pass it. They believe they're going to be able to get the progressives, the left wing of the Democratic Party, to take this, even though it's not big enough at $800 billion to quite meet their demand. But the assumption is, even though it's below $1 trillion, they may vote for it.
I have to tell you, I personally will campaign against any Republican, Democrat, anybody. I will go door to door and knock for people to get those people out. If my congressman votes for it, I will personally. I don't care if he's the Antichrist. I will personally go door to door. Congressman, let me talk a little bit about the Friends of Angelo and Countrywide. You're just trying to get a subpoena. Bank of America, I read in the paper earlier this week, Bank of America wants to show the government the paperwork of the Friends of Angelo stuff at Countrywide, but you can't get a subpoena. How come?
Well, it doesn't appear as though Nancy Pelosi wants the list of other Democrats who got these kinfolk deals out there, in spite of the fact that there's likely to be just as many or more Republicans. Remember, this program went on throughout the Bush administration. The Postmaster General himself, John Potter, the HUD Secretary, we know there are other Republicans who got it. And as we're trying to say, look, if you're going to drain the swamp, drain the whole swamp, it's very clear that the Speaker does not want anyone going into that swamp because it could open another Charlie Rangel type problem. And remember that Democrats, bless their hearts, and a few Republicans voted for campaign finance reform, voted to get rid of large sums of money going to members just at a time in which tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars were going around the system into their personal pockets with these discounts on their home loans.
I have to tell you, Congressman, it's like the inmates are running the asylum. And I thought it was bad when you guys were in charge, but this is do you have a sense at all, sitting there in Washington, of the anger that people have towards Republicans and Democrats? They're angry, Congressman. Do you know that?
Glenn, Republicans were voted out of office twice, in 06 and 08. We rightfully so were big spenders and were told and eliminated from the majority and then further reduced for our inaction to curb the growth of government. We got the word. That's why you saw in the stimulus vote every single Republican, even the most moderate, saying, no, this is so much spending, even a Republican blushes over it.
But you know what, Congressman? I don't think anybody believes the Republicans. They just think that they were like, okay, we're playing a political game now. You guys are still big spenders. That's what I think the average person believes. But we're now entering, I think, dangerous territory. Our freedoms are being sapped. I really think that the average person believes this, that they're working hard, they're playing by the rules, they're going to work, they're making sure their kids are doing their homework, et cetera, and the only people that are benefiting in this society now are the ultra poor and the ultra uber rich, the giant corporations. That leaves all of the people in the middle. I hate to point this out, but every time that's ever happened in any country, it hasn't ended well.
No, Glenn, you're absolutely right. but let's bear in mind, in the old Soviet Union, the most benefited class there were the class of government.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here.
Yep.
Trust me, there are more members of Congress being driven around in government-paid-for vehicles here than you're ever going to possibly find anywhere else. There's an awful lot of pork going to people in government, and with this new, bigger government, there's going to be more. And look, I'm not telling people to vote against Democrats. I'm saying that your listeners should vote against Republicans or Democrats if they're continuing to vote for this big government.
Yes.
And hopefully, if a few Democrats get taken out in the primary, and if there's any Republicans left foolish enough to vote for bigger government, take them out.
Yes.
Take both of them out, and we will have a better America.
Okay. Congressman, you let us know how we can put any pressure on, Representative Towns to do the right thing and drain the swamp.
Glenn,
yep.
absolutely. And I'll tell you, Ed Towns would have already signed that if it was only up to him. I have no doubt that there are more powerful people who are scared stiff to have us do discovery, that Bank of America wants to give us this information. They're not trying to withhold it.
Well, they're offering a Dove bar, and I don't know which to choose, my country or the Dove bar.